Welcome to the Messenger-Inquirer's Gridiron Report, sponsored by Crandall's Home Furnishings and Carpets Unlimited. I'm Messenger-Inquirer sports editor Scott Hagerman. With me is Messenger-Inquirer sports writer Jim Pickens. And Jim, this is really what I consider kickoff week. We've got the Independence Bank Border Bowl, and I think it's an event that really gets everybody excited about high school football.
Absolutely, Scott. It's just a tremendous high school event. It involves all four of our local schools, and to me, I'm like you, it feels like the real beginning of the football season this weekend.
It really does. We're at two locations. Friday night, we're at Steele Stadium.
Correct.
We've got Bowling Green opening against Daviess County, first game, and then we've got Owensboro Catholic playing Warren East in the second game. Then on Saturday night, we move to Rash Stadium, where we have Owensboro playing Evansville Reitz, and then we have Evansville Memorial playing Apollo. Mm-hmm. It's interesting matchups all the way around, don't you think? Yeah,
I do. I think it's really interesting. I think that the second night in particular at Rash Stadium, the Owensboro Reitz game and the Memorial Apollo game, those really shape up to be humdingers, so to speak. I think that those are going to be very competitive games and highly entertaining.
Let's talk about Friday night first, and we'll get to Saturday. Friday night opens up with Daviess County meeting Bowling Green. Bowling Green coming off a huge win over Pulaski Southwestern. DC was idle last week, so this is truly their opener. What strikes you about this matchup?
Well, it's a tough matchup for the Panthers. There's no question about it. Bowling Green is loaded once again. They are truly one of the best teams in the state. Last week against a good Pulaski Southwestern team, Scott, they had 7 players score touchdowns, seven different players score touchdowns. So that tells you a little bit about their depth. When you face Bowling Green, you're always going to face immense speed and a high degree of skill. And when you add to that they're well coached and they have a great tradition, it just stacks up as a tough matchup for DC.
I think that's the real problem for Daviess County is I don't care, you can practice for a year straight, you can never prepare for speed if you don't have that kind of speed equal to that in practice. And I think Bowling Green just has so much speed. Plus, I think Daviess County's at a huge disadvantage because they haven't had a game yet. And I still think that's just a huge advantage.
Well, it is a huge advantage. And also, Daviess County, as we've noted in our first show, is going to be without their head coach, Marcus Kimbrell. That's another disadvantage for the Panthers because it's a situation where, you're asking a member of the staff to come in, and it's Matt Brannon, and I have a lot of respect for Matt Brannon. He was a great football player in his day, and he'll do an outstanding job on the sidelines for them this weekend, but there's just a difference there when it's not the head coach on the sidelines.
Yeah. Second game of the night features Warren East playing Owensboro Catholic. Warren East coming off an absolute pasting by Glasgow, which I think surprised us, the magnitude of that. It was 61-12. Owensboro Catholic, on the other hand, coming off a decisive win over McLean County. So you've got teams coming in really different frames of mind to this one. Do you see that kind of being the tale for how this one's going to go?
I believe that's how it will go. I think, Warren East is a very well-coached team. They're coached by a man named Ben Bruni, who for years was an assistant coach for Bowling Green. So he comes from a background of winning. And he's done a good job at Warren East. But I think what happened last week, they ran into a real buzzsaw against Glasgow, a veteran team, a team that returned a lot of skill, and I think they're going to face the same thing this week against the Aces.
Here's my question with Catholic. Does Catholic buy into the fact that they beat McLean County very bad, and do they start believing they're better than what they are? That's kind of a tricky deal with a team that struggled and then suddenly has big success. Do they get too caught up in that success? I don't believe Coach John Edge will allow that to happen, but kids are still kids. I mean, they're going to have to come in focused regardless of what Warren East has done.
I think that in maybe years past this could have happened in this scenario with the Aces, but I think this year they're so intent on turning their program around that I think each week is going to be new for them. And I think that they're going to take it truly. We use that expression, it's almost a cliche, one game at a time. It is a cliche, but I think with Owensboro Catholic this year, I really believe that they're going to be focused on one game at a time because when you go 3-8, that's so painful for a team and a program that's used to winning. I think now they're not going to take any chances. They're going to prepare for each opponent as it comes.
Saturday night, we have Evansville Reitz playing against Owensboro, and we have Evansville Memorial against Apollo. Before we break down those games, we want to go to an interview I did with Owensboro coach Joe Prince Wednesday. Joe, in the season preview, you talked about how this had the potential to be a very special team this year. Do you feel like you're ahead of the game, one side of the ball or the other right now, or are they both about even?
They're about even. I'm not where I want to be, or where I'd like for us to be. I don't know if we're in game shape, and I think some of that, we're in shape, but we're not in game shape. And I think that we fall off so much between our ones and twos in some areas that we don't get pushed enough in practice while we're scrimmaging. I think, if we went out and ran 20 sprints, we could do that. But game shape's something that's totally different. You're going all out every play, and sometimes in practice, I don't know if we're going all out. That's a concern of mine, and we'll find out Saturday what kind of game shape we really are in. Early in the year, I think a lot of people are in the same boat we are. Concerns me this week that Reitz already has a game under their belt, and they can see where they are in game shape. And I thought they struggled a little bit with it, and I'm sure they'll be better off next week. But anyway, that's my major concern with our team is our game shape.
Offensively, the focus is definitely going to be on Cal, your son, quarterback Cal Prince. How's Cal improved from last year, and are you looking for basically the same things out of him as last year as this year?
I'm expecting more out of Cal because I think we have some guys that surrounded that can help him. I think we have receivers like Tyler Davison, Zach Brown, and LaDaniel Hagan, and Ryan Bowling, and those guys that can catch the ball and do something with it. So I'd expect our numbers to go up there. I'd expect that we have a great tailback, I think. Well, it's too early to say he's great potential, and Kendall Tinsley. And I think that he can take some of the load off of Cal, and that makes Cal more dangerous if they got to start honoring other people. I think that the diversity could help us this year in our offense. We're going to throw the ball more, and I expect better numbers from Cal. I think that his reads have gotten better, and I think that he has the potential to have a much better year than he did last year.
Do you see the carries going down for him this year, not maybe so much just because you have other weapons, but just to keep that potential of getting hurt lesser?
I don't know. I've never gone in a game and saying let's make sure he gets this many carries. I've done that with our tailbacks to make sure, I've told our offense coordinator I want to make sure our tailbacks get this many carries at least. Cal is unique that his carries are sometimes just scrambles. A pass may be called and he may scramble 6-7 times. And so I don't know if you can say these are the amount of carries he's going to get. I think it depends on who you play and that kind of thing. I don't worry too much about how many carries he gets. I never have sat there and go, oh, I wonder if he's carrying it too much. I mean, any kid, whatever's working, let's keep calling it. And so that's where we'll attach that. He's going to play some defense, and that concerns me a little bit. He's going to have to step in some defensive roles when someone is injured. So, that kind of concerns me some.
Talk about the defense a little more. Anybody in particular really standing out to you at this point in the year defensively?
Kendall Tinsley's looked very well defensively. At safety, I think he's done a very good job. I think that Michael Dudgeon's stepping up. Tony Daviess looked really good in our scrimmage the other day, playing nose guard. He's so short and strong that he creates problems from the nose guard position. Trey Dixon has played very well so far, and Zach Brown's done a decent job at outside linebacker. He's been fighting a little illness, but anyway, he's done well. So Will Stone's done a decent job at linebacker.